Hi everybody. So first up, when you're putting together Jennifer Smith's layout for Are You There Yet, you want to do all the cutting. Make sure that you've done all of your Cricut cuts, and then you've done all your regular cuts. The paper itself is quite easy to cut as far as just the regular things that you're going to do with your trimmer. So I'm not doing a video on that because it's really simple. But I do want to do a video on putting the Cricut cuts together because she's got some really teeny tiny pieces. So make sure that when you put these all together, that you have all the little pieces, because there's some really funny looking ones that are necessary for your Cricut cuts and to make them look really good. So every little piece, keep it. I'm going to start off with the things on layout 1, and we're going to work first with this globe, and you're going to need the teeny pieces on this that you're going to need are the ones on the right hand side, which are part of the land mass. So those little pieces right here are part of it. So be very careful when you're doing those Cricut cuts that you get all of it. Then we have the North American continent there, and the South American continent, and then the blue world there, your globe base, and then 2 yellow strips here, and then this decorative thing that goes around the globe. So let's start with the yellow there. And for all of this one, I would say you're going to need some glue. Now, it's so funny because I do think that close to my heart's glue is really good, but I always find myself reaching for this one. So, you know, whichever one you have. I think, you know, this one just seems to come out a little faster for me than the one close to my heart one. So I do use it a lot, even though I should be using the other one, right? Okay, carefully put that down. And then just let that sit. I don't know if I got it on there perfect or not. I think it's pretty good. All right. Just like that. These die cuts from the Cricut are just what really make Jennifer's work so nice, as she uses quite a bit of them. Now get all the little parts on this world, well, the water for the world, let's call it that. The oceans. Have you been in both of the oceans? I have. I definitely love the Atlantic. I think I've been in it probably more times now as an adult. When I first moved to California, I went into the Pacific quite a bit. But not as warm as most of the Atlantic that I've been in. And I do like it. I don't know about you guys, but I like the bathwater type warm. So before I step in it, I really don't like to have to get used to it, you know? All right, this is gonna go with an outline. So let's do South America there. All right, been to South America once when I went to the Galapagos Islands. I got to go to Ecuador first, and then the Galapagos are about, I don't know, 600 miles off the coast of Ecuador. All right, and North America. So get glue on every little bit of that teeny parts so that it really sticks down nicely. And it does fit in here really well. So just leave that little, I don't know, it's about 1/16 of an inch or so border. Make sure it's kind of rounded with the rounded edge of the globe there. And then over here, this longer, weird, odd shape is gonna go with the skinny part up. And you're just gonna, again, fit it like about 1/16 of an inch away from the globe, the water. because it's just supposed to be like turning slightly, and you're just catching that Eurasia coming on over. I'm gonna just put a little bit here, this last little piece, and again, just fit it in about 1/16 of an inch. This is not too hard. I'll tell you, the hardest one I ever had from Jennifer was a school one, and it was all the years of school, 2-page layout with 8 by 12, was it, or maybe 6 by 12 flip flaps on every page, and all of it was decorated with the tiniest little detailed Cricut cuts, and I had to cut them. Some of you probably were around then. I had to cut them for customers, and oh, what an ordeal it was. I had all these little cups to hold every teeny tiny piece. It was insane. All right, and hold that down, and then we'll be done with that piece. Not bad. Just like that. And it looks like I have a little glue there, so I'm going to turn the camera off. I'll use my glue eraser on it, and we'll move on to the next piece. The next piece is super, super easy, but you are going to need the little parts from the letter R and O. So hopefully you kept those. If not, it would look fine without them. So get your big black piece that's the sign, the word root cutout part, and then this, and then those 2 little pieces there. And then you can use a bigger adhesive for this in most of the parts. So let's get this all glued up. Another thing about Jennifer, she uses big pieces. Got the little teeny tiny ones, but then she really makes the elements large. So this is going to be about 1/4 inch away from the edge. Just try to make that even on both sides, and then I'm going to do the same with this. And I may need a little bit of glue for the inner parts. So let me move that up so you can kind of see where I'm gluing. This paper's cute with all the different parts from around the world, the Sydney Opera House, and I think it's got the Eiffel Tower and the Big Ben in London. Very cute on that side, but we're gonna use this side. So now this looks like it's more about 3/8 of an inch away from the edges. Yep. And then just try to make it even, kind of even up down here so that there's the same amount of width. And I think I pretty much got it there. Close enough. And then inside the R, the little piece, I had to cut mine because I accidentally threw them away. It's the only piece that I threw away was the inside of these. Every other little piece I knew for sure she was going to use, so but I did accidentally throw these away, so I just cut my own. Traced them inside the letters. I kept the letters, but not the inside. Okay, that piece is done. Next, we're going to go, well, let's see, the tickets. I want to make sure on the ticket that I have every piece. I think I do. I'm going to look really careful at this, but it looks, it's just like it's 3 colors. See, she accidentally highlighted that when she screenshotted it, so it makes it a little bit harder. There, I think I'm missing, I might be missing a gray in there. Let me check, because it almost looks like, but I can't tell because she had highlighted that one. So maybe that's what looks like lines around it. It's probably just as the black as the background. I don't think I have any extra pieces. So I think we're gonna go with just these 3 colors then. So poke out all your little spots on your ticket. And you won't need to hold those, I don't think. And then the short rounded rectangle will be on the right-hand side here. And we're gonna lay this down, and then the red goes around it. And so far, I think I might have to highlight it on my Cricut and check for sure, which I'll do next. But I think it's just these 3 pieces or these 3 colors. So when in doubt, if you go to where you cut it on the Cricut, so you're going to that graph paper that's on your Cricut, right? And you can 100%, you know, you have that percentage where you can see it bigger. So just highlight that image of the ticket or whatever one that you are confused with. And I'm a little crooked here. And then enlarge it a little bit, and then you'll be able to see the parts. Another way to see the parts is to separate them. So, you know, they're all grouped. So ungroup them and then pull them apart, you know, one thing at a time. And that's another way to see how she put these together if there's confusion on it. If you're not watching this, if I make a mistake, I think I'm gonna have these right. But when you have this kind of a situation where you're not sure where every single piece goes, just highlight that on your Cricut, enlarge it, and ungroup it, and then pull each piece off, and you'll be able to see. That's how I did it when I did the school one that was so difficult, because there were some really, we're talking pieces the size of a the point of a pencil in that one. So I really had to enlarge it to see where every little piece went. This one, not that hard. So all these red pieces are just gonna go under, leaving a little bit of the black outline. And I think that's it on this ticket. But I will check, and then we will move on to layout 2. It looks like we are good on the ticket. So now let's work on layout 2. Let's start with the planes. Now there is I think 5 planes on this. Let me do this on white paper so you can see it. But on this particular layout, there's 2 planes. So let's do those, and then I won't do the planes for the other ones because you will know already how to do those. So you're gonna need the 2 plain bases, the blue kind of body, the 2 parts of the wings, and then I left these stuck on the mat here is all the little wing pieces, actually tail pieces. So I left those stuck on the mat so that it would be easier to pick up. So let's just put those together real quick. And those are easy. Only hard one on here is kind of like the binoculars, but we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so looks like the skinniest part goes to the back towards the tail. So you can kind of see this is more rounded and this is pointy. So the pointy part is gonna go back towards the end of the plane, the tail of the plane. So I'm just gonna put the glue right up the center and lay that down there. And that's about 1/16 of an inch away from the edges. Hold it down. Just like that. And then on the other one, and remember you're gonna do this to 5 planes, so you can pause this and when you get done with these first 2, and then go make the ones for layout 3, because you're gonna make them the exact same way. It's about 1/16 of an inch away from the body, around the black outline. And then on these, they go kind of match up to the wings. They're both the same, so just make sure that they're on the same color of paper and not that you didn't switch to the light side. So all of these are on the dark side. And I'm just gonna glue each of those one at a time because it's delicate. You wanna get in all the parts. All right, and then just fit that right where the engines are. Again, about 1/16 of an inch away. So it does fit nicely, which makes it a little easier to put these together. It's not like one of those puzzles where, you know, the puzzle almost looks like it fits and it sort of fits and it really is supposed to go there, but because of the way they cut it, it's difficult to tell. On these, not difficult to tell. Let's get those wings on. I hate those kind of puzzles. I want my interlocking puzzle to be truly interlocking, so there's no doubt at all that I fit the right piece in. Still looking for a good puzzle brand, because you know, the ones that say interlocking, sometimes they're interlocking, but they're not really that great. So I'm always looking for new ones, because we do puzzles on our girls' weekend that I do with my female relatives every year. And we're always looking for new puzzles because we don't do the same ones every year. Okay, about a 1/16 of an inch away from the edge. And now I'm going to get to all these little tiny pieces for the tail. On a lot of these, when I was doing them, wherever the little pieces were, I kind of just left them on my Cricut mats, because I had several Cricut mats with me. I brought a big stack. So I'm thinking all these 5 here are going to go on the left tail, and all the 5 here are going to go on the right. So since these will be really hard to glue, I'm probably going to glue, just put a couple dots right here where I think they're going to go on the tail. And stick it there. Oop, wrong side. It's going to be the other side. So let me do this. So it's just the opposite of what I just said. So this is the top of my Cricut mat when you put it in. So it looks like these ones will go on the left, and the ones that are on the right are going to go on the right. So let me pull them, and then I've got this one point piece here. I have to check and see what that is, and not that it's just some inside of another piece. That before I throw it away, I'm going to make sure it doesn't belong on something. All right, it's those binoculars that worry me. They have a lot of little pieces. And those are coming up next. Although we may do the clouds first. Let me see, that's wrong side. Like that. And then a little glue on this side. So I'm going to pause this, and you're going to pause and grab your other planes and get those put together. That's exactly what the planes look like. These would look really good with liquid glass on them, so consider that. I think that when I make them, I may do that. The only thing about liquid glass is sometimes it makes things curl just slightly. So, I don't know. But gosh, I think that body especially would look good with liquid glass. So, I'll think about it. But we're going to move on to the clouds next. Okay, let's look at the clouds. So, here's what I want you to do. Get all your pieces together. You're going to take the inserts out, but you're going to keep the outline, and you're going to keep the little squiggly that goes inside of it, okay? And then you're going to group them all and fit the vellums, match up the vellums, because the vellums are going to go behind with the little squiggly in front. So get those ready. You can pause while you're doing that. And then you're also going to need, this is going to be a stencil. So it won't be glued to the paper. You're going to stencil around it. You won't need any of the inserts. So the middles go out, but you keep the squigglies, okay? And then you'll need one other little cloud. So let's start putting these together. Luckily, with vellum, usually it's a big pain because you have to, vellum shows all glue. But luckily we'll be gluing from the back, so shouldn't mess up our vellum. So I'm going to kind of set some of these aside while we glue others. So Doesn't matter which one you pick up. They're all gonna be the same each time. I've got a little bit of fuzz on this squiggly here. So she's just trying to make it really look like a cloud with a little vellum behind it. So make sure you got the, get that, I had just a little bit of fuzz on there. All right, make sure you got the front side, not that it matters that much, but get the front side, and then we're going to, I'm just gonna put the glue on the back side of, so know which side is the back side, which side is the front. And I'm just gonna put glue all around the edge. I think this might be the easiest way to do it. And then attach it to that matched up vellum. And don't let any peek out the sides. So they don't match exactly perfectly, but it should have like a more white than vellum, so that should make it really easy for you. While that's drying, I'm going to just put a little glue here. You might want to actually do the squiggly itself, but I'm just estimating there. And just put that about where it was before when you cut it out. Okay, and let's just do that to all of them. Not too hard. All right. The tricky thing is all these stencils she's using this time to make sure that you don't lose those cutouts. I'll show you that when we get to, I think it's pet layout. So layout 1 or no, layout 4, I think she uses, oh no, it's layout 1 that we use the world on. So I'll show you that paper while I'm thinking of it here. Little fuzz here too. Our white cardstock is very fibrous. And then I need a little bit there for the squiggly. Well, that's how easy those are. So let me show you what we're gonna use, since I think I had, do I have it handy? I do. So on layout 1, she took this stencil, cut around it, and then it looks like she sponged through it using Glacier and Toffee ink. Yeah, I guess she sponged through it. Almost looks like watercolors, but anyway, so we're gonna cut that out at some point to do our stenciling behind that. And there's a big piece here, I'm not sure. I might have to watch her video too, but she's got like some big spots here that don't look like the stencil, so I'm not sure what that is from. So I'll find out when we get to that part, but you are gonna need that. So again, don't throw away any pieces. All right, let's finish with our clouds. And I'm going to, after I finish this, I'm going to go watch, I'm pretty sure Jennifer made a video for people who bought her project, and I'm gonna check it out and see and make sure I do that right for you. She is not one for many directions, much to everybody's dismay. So I'm glad that it looks like she may have made a video. And then this squiggly, let me see where that goes. I'm gonna get him on right. There we go. Okay, this squiggly kind of goes right about here. But this is not an important part. Just put it on somewhere around where she showed you. And it's gonna be just fine. No perfection needed. Do the big one of the big ones. And I'm just putting the glue around that whole edge. And line it up. And I don't want any of my vellum sticking out. And then this squiggly is gonna kind of go along the whole piece there. And they do look very pretty. It's a nice level of artistry with those pieces of vellum. I like it. Two more. This one got fuzzy. See? Didn't cut perfectly. That's just those fibers from the white. Remember when you first started using Cricut and you're always having issues with fuzziness and it catching the paper and so many things. Ripping your paper. Didn't dare leave the room. I've gotten better over the years, but I still try not to leave the room if the Cricut's on, because you never know when it might get stuck. And so you got a little glue on the vellum there. I hope that comes off. Pretty good. I see just the touch of vellum there. So this squiggly is going to go over here too, I guess. There's two of them that kind of are on the right hand side like that. All right, and last one. So don't forget that you're going to need that long cloud. It's going to be stenciled, and the little cloud is going to go on the page directly too, like these big clouds. All right. And then we're almost done with the die cuts for layout 2. We just need to do that a little more complicated binoculars. Like, who even uses binoculars anymore? I own a pair, and I always bought them for concerts and stuff, but I don't even take them to concerts anymore. Anybody out there still using binoculars? All right. Let's get this one on, and that's going to go like that. Just like this. All right, then set your clouds aside and we'll work on the binoculars. Next, you're going to need also, if you, it's not something we have to put together, but the word head and the word clouds. You also need those for layout 2. So I talked to Jennifer, and no, she does not have a video on this, but one mistake that I made, which doesn't affect you yet, but the stencil that I was talking about on the page, let me show it to you again, is not what she used. She actually used a real stencil from Close to My Heart, but they're no longer available. So what I'm going to do, and you will have already seen by this point, is I'm going to choose a piece off of Cricut that looks like a stencil of the world, and I'm going to just have you cut that, and then you'll use that as a stencil. So ignore everything I said up to this point. Doesn't matter because you haven't put this together or anything, but yeah, I found out that it was actually a stencil that Close to My Heart, I believe either it's retired or it's on back order. So we'll just make something new. All right, so we're gonna do the base of the binoculars now, and you're gonna need this kind of, it's papaya piece. I think is gonna go down first. Doesn't look like all these, too many of these pieces are gonna be layered over each other except for just a few details, so it should be pretty easy. I thought it was going to be hard, but it's just that it has a lot of little pieces. So let's put this on here with about a 1/16 of an inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch away from the sides and the nose piece here. We already got glue smearing all over, just like that. And right in the middle, might as well go for that right now, is this little yellow circle. Maybe pull that off so you can see. So a little yellow circle right in the middle. Again, 1/8, 1/16 to an 1/8 inch there. Right up here above it, this is one of those teeny tiny pieces. It's a little piece of toffee curved, and I hope you didn't throw it away, but it's okay if you did. That's the piece. If you missed any of these, it's not that big of a deal. You can always recut if you need to, or ignore. So now we're going to do 2 other tiny pieces that look like this. There's 2 of them. And that's from that honey butter paper. I'm going to put that there. And then over on this side. And just make sure that they're both on the same side of the paper. And not one light, one dark. So the top part's already done, see? Not even hard. Now let's do these circles. I'm gonna actually glue right on them. 2 big honey butter circles. And just put them about a 1/16 of an inch away from the edge. Like that. And on the other side. And then we're going to take these pieces. Those are toffee half moons. Get some glue on the edges so they don't pop up. Flip it over. And that just kind of goes down at the bottom, again, leaving some black outline. Like the bottom half of the binoculars. So you're going to just do that moon on the bottom half. And make sure this is the same color there. And we'll do the other side, and then we're almost done. Now this, really, seriously, you have to use some liquid glass. Because these are, you know, it's got glass in them, right? They're binoculars. So we'll just have to decide where we want to put the liquid glass. Probably just on the blue. So I'm going to recommend first, before you do that though, to let this dry. Now this looks like it's going to overlap slightly. Wait, oh, these are the wrong ones. I thought I had some smaller ones, and these do look too big. So let me go grab the smaller ones. Glad I caught that. Yep, these ones are the ones that we go on this. It was hard to tell from the pictures, but now that I see that in front of me. So just slightly off to the side with a little, I don't even know what you call that little cutout there. And then I would let it dry first before you put the liquid glass, just so that the liquid glass doesn't pull an undry piece up. Now there's 2 ways you could do this liquid glass. You could do it just on the blue, but technically, I suppose the glass would be this whole piece right inside the circle. So if you want to wait till these dry and then fill that up with liquid glass, the way you want to do liquid glass is to go all the way around the outside edge first. So right inside of the gold circle. And then I just fill in almost like a swirl, and you do constant pressure so that you don't get air bubbles. If you do get air bubbles, just poke on them with a little piercing tool and stuff. But I start at the outside edge, go all the way around the outside, and then I'm slowly moving my way inside, filling in every little spot so that it's a nice, smooth liquid glass application. So no bubbles, no dents. Make sure it's all smooth and then let it dry. So I have shown you liquid glass before, so I'm not gonna probably do it on that one, but I'll do it when I'm making mine, and we'll see the end product, okay? So that, I believe, is everything for layout 2. Remember, you're gonna also need the word head and the word clouds. And then the clouds that we made, the 2 planes, and the binoculars. And we're gonna be good to go for layout 2. All right, let's talk about layout 3. You're gonna have the 3 planes that you stopped and paused and made right there. You've got 2 sets of words, adventure and everyday, right there. And then we're going to go ahead and make this, I think it's a Polaroid camera. I'm guessing that's what it's supposed to kind of be. So let me get these out of the way a little bit, so we can put this together. It's not a lot of layers, but it's not that difficult. And ooh, I hope I have my little pieces. So I'm gonna set this one aside because that's really tiny. And I'm just gonna kind of go backwards here. So I adjusted them. This one actually had some stickiness on it already. So I'm gonna go backwards and then we'll put them together. I think I have them in the right order. So black base. Why there's a black base, I don't know. Oh, I guess yeah, I don't know. Because why not just use this as a base? It seems kind of funny, but all right. We're just gonna go with what they have. So a black base, and now you're gonna put the sage on it and match it up right on it. So none of that black's gonna show, so what is the point in having that? Next will be the honey butter. Get a little glue close to those mountains there. And just match that all up at the bottom and the top. Now we will need those mountains to show through. And then the next part is the linen. I'm gonna set that aside there. Linen paper. Now, a little hint for you, if you ever run out of white cardstock and you need it, one side of linen is quite white. So it's not completely white, but it's close enough that it could fake white. So that's just something you could use in case you ever run out of white. Now we're going to do the black. I'm going to use a little bit of glue, pen glue, on these smaller parts. And a little bit in there. All around that teeny tiny edge. Yes, I've already read Jennifer the Riot Act on this, how much of a pain her layouts are. I do it every time I contact her and say, why do you have to make this so hard? I'm so used to how easy, close to my heart's layouts are, layout kits, you know, and then I go do one of Jennifer's and it's like, oh my gosh. We don't know how good we have it with close to my heart. All right, this is gonna be a nice thick piece, huh? All right, and next is this little orange papaya piece, and you're just gonna match it up on the left-hand side here. 1/4 inch, or not a 1/4 inch, about a 1/16 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch here, away from the sides of that black. The black outline is everything. This shows through, the gold shows through, but we have a little tiny dot of this linen, I think. It could just be this, because I've got this one dot and I'm not sure. But now that I see that it's linen coming through, I may not even need this. So I think I'm gonna set this little dot aside because maybe that goes to something else and we'll just leave that. Because the linen's already showing through, who needs a dot? So we'll just assume that there's probably another spot for that. Or maybe it went to some, it was some negative piece. All right, now let's do that glacier paper. I put that again with a nice little border of the black. Probably closer to 1/8 of an inch this time. My glue. And then in the middle here is the blue circle, dark blue sapphire. It's gonna go right straight in the center. And then inside that is this piece, which I had already put a little adhesive on when I thought it belonged somewhere else. Like that. And then down here, right around the yellow, put the tiniest of dots. And then place this piece. And I think that's it for that. And then we'll do the larger piece for layout 3 next. I think that's, yep, that'll be it, I think, for layout 3. It's gonna be that big adventure piece, which I suppose we can put the word adventure on there while we're putting it together, so yeah, let's do that. So we'll be on that next. Oh, before I go, I have my liquid glass handy. And I was telling you on the binoculars, I did go ahead and liquid glass those. I think I'm gonna do the same with this. So I'll take you through my process again. Right here in inside of the blue circles where I'm gonna start. And I'm just gonna have nice pressure on my liquid glass. And my liquid glass tip is a little chewed up. So it's not gonna go on quite as smoothly as I normally would have with a nice clean tip. It's gotten, you know, the glue is dried on it and stuff, and then I've had to poke it with a pin, and so now I'm gonna go inside, continuing that pressure, trying not to let the air suck back in, and looking for any spots that I've missed with the liquid glass so that there's no kind of indentations anywhere. This is where you want to go ahead and be quite generous with your liquid glass. And I'm just going to keep circling towards the center. I'm pressing. It's actually hurting my fingers. So now I'm going to let it suck in just a tiny bit because my fingers need a rest. And keep going, and hopefully you don't have an air bubble, but I do have a little pin in case I do. And I think I've got a little glob of glue here that might be inhibiting me. I have a little package of hat pins that I use for this. And I'm going to continue to fill in any indentations. I have some little glue bubbles, but air bubbles, not too bad. All right. And all those last little indentations, so it's nice and smooth. And a couple of air bubbles. Oop, I see another spot right here I want to get. A little messy. I'm going to take this pin and just edge it a little bit. Try to get it, keep it in there, and I see just a little bit more here that I want to kind of push over right inside of that. That blue ring. And then just edge it a little bit. These hat pins are super cheap. Close enough. I have a couple little air bubbles, and I'm just going to poke them with a pin. until they pop. I think that one's good enough. Okay, so that's done. We'll let that dry a long, long time. Let's do this big scenery piece. Get your big blue base and then your 3 pieces of strips. Lighter side, darker side, and then linen. And we'll start down at the bottom. These all fit together like a little puzzle. So I'm gonna line this up flush with the edge of the blue piece. And just like that. And then the next one is gonna fit just right next to it. Just to make a nice little background for this adventure everyday piece. So line it up against the side of the blue and then just flush with the white there. And then the last one should lean right against it all. Start at the blue, at the edge of the blue, and let it line right up against the toffee. And if you did it right, yeah, it just matches up like that. So next piece is the, I'm wondering now, I think that we should wait on this one. Let's put the pieces together, but I don't want to put the whole scene together because there's going to be photo mats in here and we want to build around those. So let's set this aside for layout 3, and then let's we'll save the clouds for later because I want them to fit around those photos and I don't want to do it ahead of time in case they don't. So let's put it together, this little lamp post. The blue is the base, the black goes on top. I think we'll be happier if we do that around the photo mats instead of trying to put the photo mats around them. So we'll just do that when we do the layout. Little glue on the skinny parts. Flip this over, and this looks like it fits right directly onto the sapphire piece. So just line it up with all of that. I just kind of manipulate it. This is why it's nice to use a little glue instead of regular adhesive. But we can trim. I think I'm pretty close except for just a little bit on this right hand side. I'm gonna just trim that off. And a little bit here. And I think the rest looks pretty good. Okay. And then these pieces will go next. Again, so that looks like am I doing it right? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do the left one first. So the slit on these will go down. Hold that there. Got a little red piece here. Not red, just looks red in the pictures, but it's actually papaya. Set that down. That would be cute with liquid glass on it too. And then let's do these last 2. And then we'll fit this whole piece around the photos later. See, I think it kind of sticks on top of them, or it's supposed to be right between them. So I want to do it right. And we will save our words, adventure words, for fitting around those 2. So let's do this last bit and we'll be done with the die cuts for layout 3. I think actually putting these together, and I found that in the past with Jennifer's layouts, once you get everything prepped, they go together pretty fast. And I can see just by looking at this, it's the rest of it's just stickers and stuff, so we'll be good. All right, that's layout 3. Okay, last page of prep. You're going to need this big world thing, and you're going to need the letters for the word travel. right there. And then we're gonna make these 3 pieces here. So let's start over here with the compass. And I'll kind of move these gently, because they have a lot of little pieces to them. These aren't too hard. There is one little tiny, tiny, tiny piece here. That one. So you're gonna need that. And that's off of your, I think that's linen paper. So let's get the rest of these in here. I'm gonna start with the, actually, I'm wondering if there isn't supposed to be a little circle. I think there's supposed to be a circle right there. Did I miss that? I might have missed that. I'll look around and see if I have that somewhere. So find your dark side of, oop, don't want to get glue everywhere. Dark side of that sapphire ring. And I do see that I'm gonna need a smaller ring. Let's see if I have it handy or if I pulled it off. Hold that down. While that's drying, I'm gonna pause for a minute and I'm gonna go look for the smaller ring. Okay, found it. It's actually this half of, well, like 3/4 of a ring. So find the, put the glue on the light side, and we're gonna use the dark side up. And I knew that would be needed at some point. So that's gonna go right up here. Remember, leaving about an 1/16 to an 1/8 inch there. And then I guess there's a little piece right here too, a little blue piece, and I don't seem to have that one. So right here, you would have a little blue piece that's gonna fit. Let me show this a little closer right here. Maybe it'll show up for me later, but at this point I don't see it. So you will probably have that. And then in the center, it's gonna go this. Make sure you put north so that it's facing the right way there. That's something I would probably do, is accidentally put it upside down or something. So we want north to face the top. Right under the little clasp, and then about an 1/8 of an inch there, edge. And then we have these little tiny pieces that probably didn't look like anything on your mats, which is why it was so important to check those out. And this one is the honey butter. I'm gonna put it right here, like that. And that one got slightly damaged. Don't know why. And then the papaya up here, like this. In the center is this little blue piece. Let me hold that up for you. And that's gonna go with the opening just to the left slightly. And then we're gonna stick this little white piece in there, which should be interesting. See if it fits. Oh, it does. All right, awesome. Okay, so that's it. So something that would be cute for this is a little liquid glass right here. Once that dries, I'll probably do that. Let's go on to the suitcase. And okay, I have all my pieces for this one. So I'm going to put, this is the base. So the black will go on that. Get a little glue on the thin parts. All right, and then the big glue on the big parts. And I'll probably put just a slight bit down here too. We want everything to stick. All right, flip it upside down. And just match that all up. Cute. Cricut is a magnificent machine. It truly, truly is. You know, oh my gosh, you know, I used to be a teacher and I could have so used a Cricut so many ways in my classrooms to make my centers better, to make my bulletin boards better, to make little cute things for the kids. Oh my gosh, it would have been awesome back then. That was the 80s. And, you know, had internet even started then? I think the first time I actually recall having internet clearly, other than I have that horrible sound in my head of it connecting, and I don't even remember if that was in my own house or at my parents' house. I can't even remember, but that connecting sound, it's horrible, right? But the first time I actually remember specifically using it was when I was in an apartment in Hawthorne when I was pregnant with my last child, so that would have been 1997. And I remember playing on it when you still had to kind of do a little code to even get into it. And I remember I was on message boards, some kind of message boards back then that had no graphics. And I started feeling my contractions. And that's my earliest memory, really, of internet. Okay, that one's done. So I didn't talk through it, but you guys can watch me. I did talk through it, is what I should say. All right, so that was pretty easy one. And then here is our little camera. Again, lots of little spots there. Okay, so looks like, I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Yep. So the first one down will be the base, which is the papaya, then the yellow, then the black, then the blue. So we're going to need a little glue on these small parts. But yeah, that's my earliest memory of actually using it. I'm sure I used it before then, but I remember it not being, you know, very user-friendly, and that you did have to put in some kind of a code just to get onto the first page. Thank goodness I had an IT person in my family. My husband does IT for a living, and now my middle son is a web designer, and my youngest son is learning to code right now. I don't know if you knew it, but there's some kind of program you can go through with the company that owns Facebook, Meta, and you pay just $40, I think it was $45 a month, and they teach you how to code. And as you know, that's a useful skill these days. So I may have 3 IT guys. Okay, the big parts get the runner and the rest will get the glue. And I'm going to put a little glue right around the circle so that sits down nicely. And then all these little thin lines to add those nice details in. And then I was really happy once the expression went to, on Cricut, when the expression changed to an Explorer and you could design on a computer. Oh my goodness. That just changed my life. All right, let's lay these down. So everything lines up. So I would start with the left-hand side kind of first, trying to line those lines up over the yellow. This is going to be a little tricky, I can already tell. So I'm going to kind of push them. Push this over a little bit more. It needs to go over that. Ooh, doesn't want to. May have to do a little bit of cutting because it's not matching up quite as nicely as I hoped. Let me see what I could do about this. So if you have troubles with this, I'm going to actually put a little extra glue on the yellow. Using my piercing tool to kind of set that right down onto that yellow. So it doesn't show through too much. I think it's going to slightly show through, you know, because it's right under it. And that's okay because that kind of makes a little bit of an outline. But try to get it on. And then you can go back and trim these sides a little bit, where the yellow is showing behind the camera. I think it's more important to line up those left-hand little pieces the best you can, and then the rest can just be trimmed slightly like that. I'm gonna have just a touch of outline there I can see. So just do the best you can on it. Maybe yours will line up a little better than mine did. All right, kind of like that. And now we're gonna do blue. All right, like that. And line that up over that hole and the center camera piece. There's another spot where liquid glass be awesome. Do you all have liquid glass? Because really you need all to have liquid glass. Yeah, I'm still slightly off center. Hopefully you guys can do yours a little better than me. And the circle in the middle. And then we have a blue piece here. And I'll put the glue on here because there's a hole in it. Oops, look at that, my black piece came right up. Like that. And I think the last little bit is just, because the yellow already pops through, so I think the last little bit is this white linen piece right here. Like that. All right, that's it. We have finished every piece. It's amazing. So I'm gonna let that dry for a minute, and I'm gonna liquid glass this center lens. I'm gonna liquid glass this. And then I think I'll be done with liquid glass. I still ended up with one little piece left. Don't know if that goes to anything, but otherwise we did good. And then we'll get started in a separate post. Will be the actual putting together of all the layouts.